Welcome to week 5. This week, we will be adding in a major project and we will be doing our normal discussion board and then the normal reading check. So, this week, we are focusing on radio and the impacts that it has had. It also gives you a background into broadcasting. This I think this project is fun. This is one that people get a little bit nervous about, but I would like for you to have as much fun with it as possible. So I'm going to hop down here first. You've got your PowerPoint presentation as usual, reading check, open note, open book, 2 attempts. The higher of the two scores is what's going to be recorded. For your discussion board, the same as it's been. You're going to have your original post due on Tuesday, and then you're going to respond to 2 classmates by Sunday. So this week, we are going to be making a podcast. So podcasts are kind of similar to like a more modern day radio broadcast. You got to think about when radio first came out, that was like a main source of entertainment. The TV was not a thing at that point. And this is where news came from. This is where entertainment came from. Versus today, we have podcasts, and a lot of people will listen to podcasts as a form of entertainment. So that's what we're doing. We're going to be making a podcast about a broadcast. So, the website that I would like for you to use to host this podcast is Podbean. And the reason for that is sometimes these files, when you just upload the audio file directly to Blackboard, it has to download, it takes a while. So it just makes the grading process much faster if I could just follow a link. So, Podbean is the website that we're going to be hosting the podcast on. The big thing with Podbean is it only accepts audio files, it will not accept video files. So, if you record this as a video, even if your camera's off, it will not allow you to upload it to Podbean. Mm. I'm so sorry. In that situation, you are just going to need to upload directly to the discussion board. But for grading purposes, I would love it if you could record as an audio file and upload it to Podbean. So if you have access to recording on Zoom, that is the preferred because Zoom will break your files into audio and video, and then you would just upload that audio file. It makes it just a lot easier. If you don't, I totally understand. It's not the end of the world. You can still upload your file wherever or however you record directly to Blackboard. So I do have an example here of what this podcast is going to sound like, just so you have a general idea. It is going to require you to listen to at least a portion, at least 10 minutes of the actual original broadcast, just so you have a general idea. But this example will kind of let you see what a student product looks like. This video is going to walk you through how to use Podbean, at least using Podbean app. I would love to explain to people, but there's really no point. The Podbean app will allow you to record, but the Podbean website does not. I am not sure why that is a thing, but it is. So if you wanted to record using the Podbean app, this just kind of walks you through how to do that. So for the assignment, War of the Worlds. So that is one of the most infamous broadcasts in really American history and in the history of broadcasting because it showed just how powerful media can be, how powerful these things can be. So, what you're going to do is you're going to listen to the opening segment of the broadcast. You want to start the video I have attached here. You really want to start about 2:30 because the first 2.5 minutes is just kind of fluff stuff you don't really need. And you want to listen to at least 12 and a half minutes in. I have had many, many, many students over the past several years who this broadcast just pulls them in and it's so entertaining. They end up listening to the whole thing. And if you have the time, I would recommend it. Even if you just leave it on in the background while you're doing a chore or something, it really could help you understand what people in the 30s were hearing, what they were thinking, what was going through their mind. So it really could help you understand, but you want to listen to at least 10 minutes of it just to really get an understanding. But again, I strongly encourage everyone to listen to the whole thing. I know it is a little bit long, but it can easily be done while you're doing other chores like cleaning your room. So, you're going to listen to the opening segment. You're going to have to do a little research on the broadcast and the impact that it had on listeners. Then you're going to create your own podcast to talk about the War of the Worlds broadcast. You're going to be answering a couple questions during your broadcast. Now, the big thing is you want to make this sound like a conversation. So think about any podcast you may have listened to previously. You're going to be answering what was the War of the Worlds broadcast about? So you're going to be kind of telling us, what was the general basis of this podcast? So what did you know about it before you researched it? What elements would have been familiar to the listeners? And what elements could have contributed to their panic? And then you want to think about media literacy. So you want to think about, were these people media illiterate, or did Mercury play against people's media literacy? So that is something, if you're not completely sure, which we should be learning as we're going through these chapters about what media literacy is, but I want you to think about, if you're not sure, where can I find that information? What is media literacy? And that is kind of the goal of this class, is to help you have a stronger media literacy and understand how media can influence you. And then you're also going to answer what made this one of the most infamous broadcasts in radio history. So I just want you to kind of think about, you know, why? Why does it have a lasting impact? Why do we still talk about it today in media studies? So the broadcast or your podcast is not long, 3 to 5 minutes. Honestly, once you get through all the questions, it should take up that full time frame. You want to keep it conversational. So the best way to put it is, you want to think about as if you just listened to this broadcast. Now you want to explain it to your friend, your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, somebody. You want to explain to them what it was. You have to answer all of the questions. You want to make sure you have a quick introduction and a quick conclusion. So kind of tell us what your podcast is about. And then that conclusion should just kind of wrap up what the topic was. You want to make sure that your audio is reasonably clean. So you do want to listen to it just to make sure, like, if you're sitting too far away from the microphone, if you're mumbling the whole time. So just kind of thinking about those. You're going to upload that, preferably the link to Podbean, to the discussion board. If you have to upload a video, that's also fine. You'll upload it to the discussion board as well. This is the broadcast that you're actually going to be listening to. So you could click it from here, or you can follow the link if you need to. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I'm looking forward to hearing everybody's podcast. Have a great week, everybody.